In the dusty streets of a small village on the border between Samaria and Galilee, the air was filled with the chatter of merchants and the cries of children. Amidst this vibrant scene, a group of 10 men stood apart, their eyes filled with both hope and despair. These were no ordinary men. They were lepers, outcasts shunned by society due to their dreaded disease. This is their story, a tale of faith, healing, and the profound power of gratitude. Lepers in ancient times suffered immensely. Leprosy, a term used to describe various skin diseases, was not only a physical affliction or a physical manifestation of sin, or so it was believed, but also a social and spiritual curse. It isolated its victims, leaving them to languish in their own misery. These 10 men, a mix of Jews and Samaritans, had found a desperate kinship in their shared suffering. They were outcasts, forced to live in the shadows, their bodies ravaged by the terrible disease that had consumed their flesh and stolen their place in society. According to the law of Moses, as detailed in Leviticus 13 to 14, anyone showing signs of leprosy was declared unclean by the priests and forced to live outside the camp, away from family and community. They had to wear torn clothes, let their hair hang loose, cover the lower part of their face, and cry out, "Unclean! Unclean!" whenever someone approached. This life of isolation and public humiliation was their daily reality. Imagine the emotional and psychological toll of being a leper. Cut off from society, these individuals were denied the simple joys of community life. They couldn't participate in religious ceremonies, celebrate festivals, or even engage in daily interactions with their loved ones. This isolation was not just a physical separation, but a profound spiritual and emotional exile. They lived in designated leper colonies, surviving on the charity of others, often facing the scorn and fear of those who passed by. One day, as these 10 men stood at a distance from the village, they heard rumors of a healer named Jesus passing through the area. Jesus' reputation had spread far and wide, stories of the blind seeing, the lame walking, and the sick being healed. Clinging to a thread of hope, the 10 lepers decided to seek him out. They had heard whispers of his compassion, his willingness to touch the untouchable, and his power to perform miracles. For them, Jesus represented their last hope. As Jesus approached the village, the lepers saw him and keeping their distance, for how could they, in their current state, even approach a priest? Yet fueled by a desperate faith, they called out in unison, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." Their voices echoed with a mixture of desperation and faith. They had nothing to lose and everything to gain. In this moment, they displayed a profound faith, believing that Jesus could heal them, even though they had not yet seen him perform a miracle. Jesus, moved with compassion, looked at them and said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." These words were profound. According to Jewish law, only a priest could declare a leper clean and allow them to rejoin society. Jesus was instructing them to act in faith, to believe in their healing even before it was evident. This directive was a test of their faith fueled by a desperate belief and obedience. Without hesitation, the 10 lepers turned and began their journey to the priests. This act of faith, to walk away still covered in the signs of their affliction, demonstrated their trust in Jesus' words. As they walked, something miraculous happened. With each step, a tingling sensation spread through their bodies. The decaying flesh began to knit itself back together. Ulcers healed, their skin began to clear, the sores disappeared, and the numbness faded away. Fingers and toes, once gnarled and close to falling off, regained their form, leaving behind smooth, healthy skin. They were healed. Joy and excitement surged through the group. They had been restored, given a second chance at life. 9 of the men continued on their way, eager to show themselves to the priests and reunite with their families. But one man, a Samaritan, stopped in his tracks. Realizing the magnitude of what had just happened, the Samaritan turned back. He ran to Jesus, shouting praises to God. Falling at Jesus' feet, he thanked him profusely. This act of gratitude set him apart. Jesus looked at the man and said, "Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner?" Jesus then said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you well." This statement was significant. While all 10 men were physically healed, this man's faith and gratitude brought him a deeper spiritual healing. The Samaritan, often looked down upon by the Jews, showed a heart of true worship and gratitude. The 9 lepers who didn't return to thank Jesus represent those who received blessings but failed to acknowledge the source. Their healing, though miraculous, remained incomplete. They were cleansed physically, but their hearts remained untouched. The Samaritan, however, experienced a deeper healing. His gratitude demonstrated a faith that went beyond the physical. He recognized Jesus not just as a healer, but as the source of all goodness. His act of thanksgiving completed his healing, making him well in body and soul. The story of the 10 lepers serves as a timeless reminder that true faith involves more than just receiving miraculous healing. It requires acknowledging, appreciating, and giving thanks for the blessings in our lives. In a world where it is easy to focus on what we lack, this story reminds us to be grateful for the grace and mercy we receive. For the Samaritan leper who returned to thank Jesus, this physical healing was undoubtedly significant. It meant a return to life, to community, to family. He could once again embrace his loved ones, work with his hands, and participate in society without fear of rejection. But the significance of the cleansing went far beyond the physical. For this man, it was a spiritual awakening. He recognized that his healing was not merely a stroke of luck or a natural phenomenon. It was a divine intervention, an act of grace from the Messiah himself. The cleansing, therefore, became a catalyst for a deeper transformation in the Samaritan leper. It opened his eyes to the reality of God's love and mercy, leading him to a place of humility and gratitude. While the others may have focused on the physical restoration, this man experienced a profound shift in his heart and soul, a healing that went beyond the restoration of his body. In essence, the cleansing process was not just about restoring physical health. It was a doorway to spiritual wholeness. For the one leper who returned, it became a testament to the transformative power of faith and gratitude, a reminder that true healing encompasses both body and soul. This realization sparked a profound sense of gratitude in his heart, compelling him to turn back and express his thanks to Jesus. This act of thanksgiving, born out of his recognition of Jesus' divine power and compassion, set him apart from the other 9. It demonstrated a faith that transcended the physical healing he had received. In the cultural context of the time, leprosy was a highly stigmatized disease. Lepers were considered unclean and were often isolated from society to prevent the spread of the disease. The act of Jesus healing the lepers and interacting with them broke social norms and demonstrated his compassion and willingness to reach out to the marginalized. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to take blessings for granted. The one leper who returned to thank Jesus reminds us to always be grateful for the good things in our lives, no matter how small they may seem. Jesus' compassion for the lepers highlights the importance of showing kindness and empathy to those who are suffering. In today's world where many face hardships and isolation, acts of compassion can make a significant difference. The lepers' obedience to Jesus' command, even before they were healed, demonstrates the power of faith. It encourages us to trust and have faith, even when the outcome is uncertain. The fact that the grateful leper was a Samaritan, a group often looked down upon by others, underscores the message of inclusivity. It highlights the importance of inclusivity and acceptance, which reminds us that everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, deserves compassion and respect. It reminds us that gratitude and faith are universal values that transcend social and cultural boundaries. The healing of the lepers symbolizes hope and restoration. It inspires us to believe in the possibility of healing and positive change, both in our personal lives and in the world around us. Fast forward to today. Our lives move at an incredible pace. We're constantly chasing the next goal, the next achievement, often overlooking the blessings we've already received. It's easy to focus on what's missing rather than what we have. Just like the 9 lepers, we sometimes forget to say thank you for the miracles, big and small, that happen every day. Think about it. How often do we take a moment to express gratitude for the good things in our lives? The Bible frequently emphasizes the importance of gratitude. In 1 Thessalonians 5:18 it says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Gratitude isn't just a polite gesture, it's a powerful force that can transform our lives. In a world obsessed with self-reliance and individual achievement, it's easy to forget that many of the good things in our lives come from sources beyond ourselves. The Samaritan leper recognized that his healing came from Jesus, and he returned to give thanks. Similarly, we can benefit from recognizing the various sources of blessings in our lives, whether it's the support of our family, the kindness of strangers, the beauty of nature, or the grace of a higher power. Acknowledging these sources fosters humility and reminds us that we are interconnected and supported. The story highlights that true healing goes beyond the physical. The Samaritan leper experienced a deeper spiritual healing through his gratitude. In today's world, where mental and emotional well-being are increasingly important, this message resonates deeply. While modern medicine has made incredible strides in treating physical ailments, many people still struggle with inner turmoil, anxiety, and a sense of emptiness. The story of the 10 lepers reminds us that expressing gratitude, fostering forgiveness, and connecting with something greater than ourselves can contribute to a sense of inner peace and wholeness. The story of the 10 lepers is not just about receiving blessings, it's about acting on faith. The lepers had to take the initiative and show themselves to the priests, even though they weren't healed yet. Their obedience and faith played a role in their healing. Similarly, in our lives, faith without action is incomplete. Whether it's pursuing our dreams, helping those in need, or standing up for what we believe in, we need to act on our faith to make a positive impact in the world. So how can we cultivate gratitude in our modern lives? Here are a few simple practices. Keeping a gratitude journal. Take a few minutes each day to write down things you're grateful for. It helps shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. Reflecting on these entries at the end of the year can show you how blessed you truly are. Expressing thanks. Whether it's thanking a friend, family member, or even a stranger, vocalizing your gratitude spreads positivity and strengthens relationships. A simple thank you can make someone's day and remind you of the good in your life. Practicing mindfulness. Being present in the moment helps you appreciate the small, often overlooked joys of life. When you slow down and take in your surroundings, you start to notice the beauty and blessings that are always there. Living a life of gratitude has numerous benefits. It leads to greater happiness, well-being, and resilience. When we share our gratitude with others, it creates a ripple effect, spreading kindness and appreciation. The story of the 10 lepers is still relevant till today. It encourages us to practice gratitude, show compassion, and have faith in challenging times. It also reminds us to break down social barriers and embrace inclusivity, ensuring that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. As we look towards the end of this year, let's not just focus on what we haven't achieved. Let's take a moment to reflect on our blessings, like the one leper who returned to give thanks. Embrace gratitude as a way of life, and watch how it transforms you and those around you. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting content. See you next time.